Welcome to another episode of Campbell Talk. I am your host, Richardo Jackson, and tonight we have with us Mizael Ramos from Nueva York. um, and he's going to be on next. We're going to be talking about HIV and mental health. And as always, our conversations are always across the board. We talk about it from all different standpoints. Um, from about the LGBTQ plus community, um, and the list goes on and on. Caribbean population, minority population. So today we're very excited to have Mizael on to talk about the work he is doing and to talk about the things that he's passionate about. Also, to talk about mental health and HIV, which is something that a lot of times people don't really think about. So, we're trying to make sure that we include topics that will reduce stigma, that will reduce disparities within the community, and help people to access services that are needed. Also, coming up on Saturday, July 22nd, at Okeechobee Park here in West Palm, in was that Palm Beach, Wellington area. We're like spliced right on the edge. But coming right up, we're going to be having the Zero HIV Stigma Walk. It's the first one that will be here in Palm Beach County, hosted by Campbell Health Solutions in partnership with the Florida Department of Health, Genesis Community Health, and I'm forgetting somebody. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Yes. Melvin. Um, oh, I'm going to get it. But I'll post the information inside the chat so you guys can see it. But it's great. There's a lot of great work that's being done, and we would love for you to come out and support. On our page, Campbell Health Solutions, the Facebook page, or on Eventbrite, you'll be able to find the Zero HIV Stigma Walk. Bring the family out, come on out and enjoy. It's an early morning thing, so but we love to see you there. All right, so without further ado, we're going to keep moving forward and onward, and we'll be right back. Welcome.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the moment to let me into your platform and share my experience and strength and hope.
All right, not a problem. I'm going to put you on stage right now. Please tell us about yourself.
So my name is Whoa! Oh, of course that would happen. My name is Mizael Ramos, and a little bit about myself is I'm a passionate advocate, leader, the voice for the voiceless, community organizer, artist. So a little bit about myself. So a little bit about myself is, let me tell you how I got into the field. In 1999, I was an AmeriCorps member, which is a national service provider. And it kind of opened the door and the gate to human resources and social services work. I was, picking up young kids from after school programs and taking them to Beacon programs where we were kind of like leaders, AmeriCorps members. They were helping young kids navigate their homework, give them recreational activities, give the parents a break from them coming immediately to school, but they had an after school program so the parents can go to work, handle, dinners and stuff. And it gave me a taste of working in social services. And from there, I completed 2 years. I just graduated from high school, and I was hired through University Settlement, which was a program for young teens, which was called the Time Search Program. And from there, I got a taste of working with teenagers. And ever since then, I have been just doing the work. Fast forward to 2023, 25 years later, I'm still doing the service. I'm still doing the work. I'm still being the voice for the voiceless. I've worked at University Settlement. I worked at Grand Street Settlement. I worked at The Door. I worked at Hedrick Martin Institute. I worked for Campbell Services. I worked for Montefiore as a harm reduction specialist. I have had so many different roles and hats and positions that it has made me who I am today. The person that is passionate about mental health, that is passionate about connecting people to HIV services, STD services, substance misuse services, connecting homeless people to services. Just give me the people. Give me the people that are going through a rough time. Give me the people that are lost. Give me the people that are looking for guidance and strength. That's a little bit of who I am, if that answered the question.
For sure it did. Um, so I know we've talked a lot on this show about HIV. We've talked a lot on this show about how do we address the HIV epidemic. We're like what 40 years in, and I don't know. We're getting closer and
Yeah,
closer.
absolutely.
So tell us, how do you think that we are? How do we begin to address HIV across communities?
I think addressing HIV in all of our communities is letting people know what it is. You know, not sugarcoating this at all. I think that we need to embrace HIV. HIV is a part of who we are. It's a part of us. It's just a small piece of the puzzle. There are many different diseases that are out there. Normalize this. I think that's we got to start doing that from the floor, from the front lines to in the homes of communities and families and up above, you know, from the government funding and everything, that this is important that we are educating and addressing HIV. It's not a killer. It's not a death disease like it was before, you know. There is treatment that can help you. We've come such a long way, you know. Wow. Like I want to go on and on and on. I don't know if I'm answering the question, but like, you know.
Yeah, for sure. We've come a long way, and we still have a lot more places to go, I guess, and
I agree.
a lot more way to go, I should say. Um, the Someone said, "Not sure why I have no audio." I don't, I don't know.
Well, you know, we'll get you connected. Hang in there, you know, and you will eventually get connected. And I'm not sure why I don't have my backdrop. You know, as y'all, you know, there's just two things going on right now. But guess what? Listen, nothing's perfect. So we're gonna roll with this.
For sure, for sure. What can individuals and families do towards addressing HIV?
I think what individuals and families can do is embrace your child, embrace your family member. And it starts with loving them unconditionally, getting training and getting support that you may need across the board. Because I think that we're learning every day, right? I think we need to take accountability to be the best human beings that we can be in our families, but also in our communities. And I think that starts with being open, with taking accountability and addressing, maybe you might not be comfortable talking about HIV, right? Maybe you might not be comfortable, um, you know, accepting that your son and daughter or um trans young adult is HIV positive. I think it takes courage and accountability to walk in a place and ask for help and services to walk you through how you can get through this. I think it starts there. For me, that would be my suggestion. Is my experience has been, you know, families just closing the door down, putting the curtain down, and just like acting like it's not existing. I think that that's wrong. I think that we should embrace every species, human being in this world to feel um, loved, feel like they are able to navigate and thrive with whatever they are dealing with.
Okay. So so many times we've seen people when they're teenagers or kids are come out as being LGBTQ, or especially if they have a reactive test, like becoming HIV, living with HIV or acquiring HIV. Um, they tend to throw them out of their homes, or you know I was about to say disfellowship them, but they tend to kick them out of their families, and it's a safety net. And sometimes, not a sometimes, but a lot of times, that actually puts them in more danger and in more harm. And so, what would you say to families who continue to still hold that stigma?
You know, that is hard because I remember when I was coming out, that's what my family was trying to do. And they were trying to shun me, send me away. And back then, as I was a teenager, there weren't many services to be connected to and to express what you were feeling if that was to happen. And it took a huge toll on my mental health. I'm not going to get too into it because it's about what the solution is. I'm going to stay in the solution. I think that if a parent does not agree with the sexuality of their children, or does not want to navigate, deal, and discard them sometimes like how they do, then I think that they should at least set them up to thrive instead of throwing them away, because that's what's happening sometimes. And
Mm.
that is hard on an individual, right? You know, can you imagine that, and not knowing where to go and navigate, or having the right peers to guide you how to do that on your own? That takes a toll on your mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
for me, would be like, if you're gonna do that, do some research. There are so much services, so much support now, so much programming, so much bridges that can connect that piece for you, so you don't have to deal. Let me take that off your hands, sweetie, and help that person thrive. You know, give your child the benefit of the doubt to thrive, even if you feel like you cannot accept it at the moment. Maybe down the road you might change your mind,
Yeah.
but if you don't, you know, there's support out there, and I will want my young people that I mentor to feel that and know that, and to give them the help that they need to break that down, because you know, we that's right. That right there is a lot of a lot to take in.
Yeah. And especially when you're talking about a kid who is probably like 13, 14, 15 years old, they don't have any place to they're not able to work, they're not able to support themselves. They're still trying to figure out being a teenager.
Yeah, I have a 13-year-old nephew that's like, you know, to do something basic like come and do your laundry. It's like, what, laundry? I don't even know how to do that. So it's scary. It's scary. I take it to heart. You know, like No one should ever feel that and go through feeling unwanted and lost. I think that's, to me, is where I become the voice for the voices, the advocate, the leader, the artist, the the all that I need to be to make sure that they never feel that.
What would you say to parents? Like if you were talking to parents right now, what would you say to them, or oh, what messages would you give to a parent right now who may be contemplating this or is on the verge of doing something like this? What would you say to that person?
I would say, in a tough time that you had in your life or you've come across, because we all have those, be that person that will lift you up when you were down for your child. Do not abandon your child because of your personal ways and the way you're stuck in your ways. And open your mind, you know allow that child, allow that person, that spirit, that soul to be who they want to be without being told who to be. We should all feel free. We should all feel safe. We should all feel like this is who I am in my skin. And my family embraces me and loves me unconditionally and supports me. Maybe
Yeah,
it may not be easy.
every kid should feel that way.
Yeah, every kid should feel that way. And know that, mom and dad, family member, chosen family, know that, being okay with like letting your kid know that you're struggling, but that you're getting the help that you need through the struggle will help the child at least know, like, at least my family's trying to understand, you know?
Or even take some time to just really understand, like from I think sometimes when and I think it's just a human thing, right? When people are going through something, we see it as if, oh, it's me. The reflection is on me. And I think when people see it that way, it's harder for them to work through all those issues, and it's harder for them to get to the solution because they see the issue as it's a reflection on them. And so many times you hear parents say, oh, it's my fault, oh, I didn't this enough, or I didn't that enough, and all these other things. And it's like, you know it really isn't.
No.
But like you said, the best thing that they can do is to provide support, support your kid, support, connect them to the appropriate services or to the appropriate resources. So this way they can kind of like find or get the help that they need to be who they need to be towards being who they are. I think that is essential.
I think I love how you share that too, and you shared something earlier too, about mental health. I think also too, normalizing that what you're going through is a struggle or a hiccup or something that you're reflecting on that you may have a hard time trying to navigate. There are services and providers out there that can help you support that process, and healing. I think sometimes embracing those parents and trying to let them know that this is something that might be along the lines of mental health, but there's these services. Maybe you need a group therapy with other parents that are processing this at the same time and reflect and hear from other parents, right? Or you need some one-on-one, like therapy or counseling, or you might need some medication. Like these things like are out there. I think that we should normalize these things. I think that we need to advocate and promote these things more, because coming from my experience too, I've had parents where they wanted the young person to be this X, Y, and Z, and through my experience and motivational interviewing, you got to take them on this journey and conversing with them and letting them know that there's support there, but they don't have to go down that route of being angry and resentful and kicking people out, because that's easy. So that's just a little bit, that I would share.
And then also, how do you talk to folks about like the mental health component of having a child who comes out, or even having a child who is diagnosed with HIV?
I think when we're creating programming for teenagers, I think this is what I've, in my span of working all these years in nonprofit and social service work, one of the things that I haven't seen a lot, they do it in school a little bit, but I think that they should press this idea and try to create some type of programming around this. When there is parent and teacher conference and after school programming, try to have programs where they're including their parents or chosen ones or people that are fostering them to their services and programs, uniting a room, creating a milieu area where, oh wow, this after school program allows me to bring my mom once a month so we can just chat, eat pizza, and socialize. During the schools, maybe creating people, parent teacher conferences in a way where they're exploring HIV, they're exploring mental health together. I don't see some of those things in New York City. I see that they're promoting services to individuals and do individual things, but I think that going to what you were talking about parents, bringing them cohesively together in a way where if I was a teenager, I can talk about what I'm going through, and the parent can talk about what they're going through with the guidance of the instructor or the therapist or the leader.
That makes sense. Providing additional resources for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Um, what would you say, based on, so you mentioned that you mentioned, like, when you were growing up, there wasn't some services that were available. So what about now? Would you say that there are services readily available for people to access?
I will say this. We have come such a long way. And I'm glad that you got me on here because it's making me think outside the box. Yes, New York City may have, services more than other places.
For sure.
So like I would say for New York City, I wish that there were services like New York City everywhere in the world. I think we would be at a better place. But I'm also going to advocate for New York City, and maybe this model can be put around around the world internationally, because I think we all need that, right? I think that programming is important for the topics that we're talking about: HIV, mental health. I think there needs to be programs such as walking people through navigating how to process and deal with when you're diagnosed with HIV. Because if you are, that automatically puts you aligned with mental health.
Right.
You got to process that and deal with that. That's something that still to this day is not easy to take and just say, I have HIV. I'm going to walk and take a pill every day and be, I think that's a process. And I used to work for a program at Hedrick Martin Institute. And there was a program that I used to work for that was called Community Promise and the Empowerment Program. And those programs used to allow us to test kids through these special events, and also pay kids a stipend to be trained and taught and how to relate these messages to some of their peers in the ballroom scene, in their own community, in the clubs, to connect them to services for mental health and HIV. I think those programs need to be put out again and use funding because what they're doing is they're putting out those programs and they took away all the funding. Like those programs used to have, those programs came with funding, hiring staff, and then a budget for creating these special events, trainings, and all of this stuff. I think that was such a great moment in advocating and empowering and getting these young people to be undetectable, getting these young people to be, you know, communicating with each other. Those services no longer exist. They do exist, but they're, I guess they're like, you know, funding, you know, funding is taken away and put somewhere else. So it means like, you know, there's so much they can do. So I think just going back to those grassroots efforts of creating programming, I
Yeah.
hope I, yeah.
Some of them were really very effective. Um, and I think that I when programs are effective like that, some of them there should be some weird evaluation thing where the effective program stays and the non-effective one goes, but that's not the world we live in for some reason. So it's sometimes it's either all or nothing, and that can be problematic because when you have people who are benefiting from the program, it becomes a little bit challenging when you take those funding away and you take those resources away for the programs. Then it's kind of like, you know.
It's kind of self sabotaging, you know.
Mhm.
And I, am I gonna say that? I am gonna say it. I saw, you know, they do it on purpose.
Okay, tell us why you feel that way.
Why I feel that way? Because I've seen it, I've seen it, and I've experienced it myself. Where a program was, and I'm not saying specifically where and who, right?
Okay.
Um, Throughout my years of working for youth, for young adults and empowering young adults through these multiple different organizations. You have a program that is funded supposedly for 5 years, right? And you get at your third year and they want to remove and pull back the 2 year funding. And
Mm,
you know, it's just gone.
yeah.
Where's it going? We're gonna take it away. So it's like, wait, didn't you? Wasn't this a 5 year funding? And that happens a lot, you know, where they just take, put back, and you know, it's just, and it affects the young people. It affects programming. It affects services.
Yeah.
So I've seen stuff that has worked. We should stick with what has worked. We should stick with the staff that are making it work. Um, yeah.
That's a good point. I think if we can improve upon um, existing programs and we start to see that they're having an impact in communities, then we need to make sure those resources are kept in those programs so this way we can continue to provide those services.
You know what? We will, because we are on this platform right now and we are speaking from experience, strength, and hope. And we have a lot of years of wisdom in this room right here, right now. And we are advocating and we're going to get there and bring that back.
For sure. For sure. All right, we're going to take a pause right here. This is where we usually go on blast right now and tell people a little bit about HIV and STDs and things of that nature.
Okay.
So, oh, I'm out of focus. HIV, I know week after week we talk about HIV all the time. So, HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus, AIDS stands for Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome. And basically, what that means is that you can the you can get HIV from having unprotected sexual contact, from sharing needles, and the only way to know if you have HIV is to get an HIV test. You can't look at people and tell if they have HIV. Um, and I know that's an old stigmatizing stereotype that people say, "Oh, I can just look at somebody and tell." You can't look at people and tell if they have HIV. A person can live with HIV for up to 10 years without knowing if they've never been tested. So For some people say, oh, I got married like 9 years ago, and before that I used to run the streets or whatever the case is. Everybody need to go and get tested. Know your HIV status, folks, especially our black and brown people.
Yeah.
Y'all need to go get tested for real and stop playing around. And I think sometimes it's a little bit challenging because people, you know, are are sometimes in relationships where they don't know their partner status, or they're having sexual relationships with multiple people and they don't know those partner status, and then they're passing on HIV to other folks, or acquiring HIV and then allowing other folks to acquire it. If you are a person who's living with HIV, there is treatment available that you can take. You don't have to die due to HIV or AIDS complication. You can take treatment, you can live a long, healthy life. If you are HIV negative, um, you can learn how to stay healthier longer. So that might be using condoms. That might also take PrEP. Taking PrEP might be a part of that, which PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis, and so it's PrEP for short. And PrEP is not necessarily the pill, right? PrEP is just a program. So you take a pill every day to prevent HIV, but you also need to use condoms. You also need to get screened on a regular basis, and you also need to see your provider on a regular basis to ensure that everything is okay with you. In addition to that, we also have PEP, which is also available, post exposure prophylaxis, where you can take if you are exposed to HIV, um, whether through work, sharing needles, or unprotected sexual contact. You can take a medication starting within 72 hours of exposure and take it for 30 days. Um, and then after that, basically we'll come back in and get tested. And the whole idea is that we want to flood your body with enough medication to prevent HIV from forming and taking hold. You cannot, so this is my stigma buster here, you cannot get HIV from hugging, from kissing, from tears, from sweat, from using the same toilet, from drinking off the same cup, eating from the same plate, using the same utensils. It's sad. It's almost like sad that we have to constantly go over this, but you absolutely cannot get HIV those ways. The only way to get HIV is from mother to child, either through breastfeeding. So mothers, if you are pregnant, you want to make sure that you get an HIV test. And if you're pregnant and having unprotected sex with your partners during your pregnancy, you probably should be requesting an HIV test every time you go see your OBGYN, or follow up with your prenatal care services. Definitely, you want to make sure you get screened, because screening will prevent your babies from being born, um, from acquiring HIV, um, before birth or during birth, and also other STDs like syphilis. Congenital syphilis is also a thing. So you want to make sure that when you're giving birth to a healthy baby, and so you want to make sure you get into prenatal care. Um, and if you don't know where to find any of these information, you can give us a call and we can connect you to a provider nearest you. We will help look with you to find one. Even if you're not here in the state of Florida, we will work with you to see if you can find something that's in your area, in your zip code, in your community that you can access. So this way you can live healthier, longer, successful, beautiful lives, and stigma free. And let's remember, let's not stigmatize anyone. It's time we end stigma. And so get educated. That's the best way to end stigma, by educating ourselves and educating others. If you would like to get tested, give us a call. Um, you can get tested for free with us. Um, Also, if you are having sex with someone, or someone is having sex with you need to get tested. Give us a call at 561-208-6595. We will try to get you as connected as possible, whether you're here in Palm Beach County or you're out of the county or out of the state. we will help you to get um, we'll help you to get a sorry, a comment popped up. We will help you to find a provider closest to you. So a comment popped up. So what about chewing food for your baby? Absolutely not. If you are a person living with HIV, you should not be chewing food. What happens is that sometimes, and oral health is important, by the way. So if you haven't seen a provider, you want to make sure that you get some oral care, particularly for people living with HIV, because that can impact your health as well. So you want to make sure that you do not chew food, because I know that's a parent thing, right? We kind of like crush the food a little bit and then give it to the baby so they can kind of like eat it. We want not to do that. And I know it's very prominent in certain cultures and certain communities, but we want to make sure that we try not to do that. And then even outside of the HIV component, to really think about, just in general, you know, um, if you have an STD, if you have some other illness going on, that's something that can also be transmitted that way as well. Because if you don't have very strong gums, as you're crushing the food, you might also, or chewing the food, you might also get blood samples in that, and then you're kind of like feeding that to your baby. So you want to make sure that you try to avoid that at all possible. Um, Thank you, Chiquita. That was a very good one.
That was a really good question. Yeah. That's
That
what
was
we do is.
for real. So, how do what would you say, or how would you recommend or what would you recommend for people to do to prioritize their mental health?
Wow. So, what would I say to people so they can prioritize their mental health? I will say this. Remember that mental health is you, right? Like, you are mental health. Some of us experience trauma, and trauma like someone's mom or dad have passed away, or getting diagnosed with HIV, or going through a breakup, um, or overeating. These are just things that I just mentioned because there's support out there to work through some of those things that you may be feeling or going through. And I want to say taking accountability for your mental health, like advocating for what is it that you need in support with. I can't express it so much, but I love going to therapy. I love connecting with my therapist once a week. I know that this is a safe space for me to throw up and to talk about things that make me feel uncomfortable, things that I don't really have a conversation with, friends or acquaintances or parents. I have a space to talk. And prioritizing that for me, so I could be a better youth coach, so I could be a better advocate, a better leader, a better uncle, a better friend. You know, I could be better for someone that needs to talk about their HIV status or whatever they may feel like they are having a hard time with. Because I need to take care of my mental health. And I think that everyone should support themselves in taking care of mental health. Sometimes mental health is running, a form of exercise. Sometimes mental health is listening to music. Sometimes mental health is therapy.
Or yoga,
Oh,
sitting.
don't get me started with yoga. I love me some yoga and some ringing the Tibet bowl and listening to like, don't get me the listen. I that's a part of my mental health. I have like a bunch of things that I call mental health, and yoga is one of those things.
And the most important part about mental health is just recognizing that you just need a moment, and make space, or taking that time of saying, I just need and sometimes when people hear mental health, they think, oh, crazy. They think, oh, I need to go and be like, shut in someplace, or I need to like lock myself away for like 6 months or whatever. But you can practice or engage in mental health every day.
It's like, it's so powerful and moving. Mental health is not crazy, like the stigma that has gone out. If you go see somebody or you talk about mental health, you're loony, you don't exist, what you speak is not important. That's whoever's saying that, you tell them to the left, everything you own in the box to the left. You tell them move to the left because your mental health is so important. And it's not because you're crazy. It's because, like you said, you need to take a break. You need to do an aha moment. I like to call it the aha moment. Look at your life moment and say, well, I need to do something that's going to make me feel, 100%, and getting yourself back to who you are so then you can be a better person in the family, in your community, at your job.
And it's healthy.
It's very healthy.
It's healthy. It's part of you being. It's part of you just.
It's part of the puzzle. It's a part
Chiquita,
of your puzzle.
Chiquita said screaming is also good. For sure.
Ah!
For sure. Sometimes you just gotta let it out. You just gotta, you can't keep it in. You can't keep it all bottled up. That stress compounded is going to kill you. So you just need to be able to let it out in healthy ways. Healthy ways. Not in traffic, not, just in healthy ways. And that might be journaling. Oh, that
She
might
just
be.
she heard you say in healthy ways, and she just came out of her bed and like just throw, and she said, pick me up to show the people that this is also a part of mental health, rubbing and holding a dog, and not doing it in the street, screaming in the car, like, having a platform and a place to be safe to do that.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Thank you, Chiquita, for that comment. And guys, as you're watching, I know we have a few more minutes to go, but as you're watching, if you have questions, and I love your comments so far, so keep commenting. But if you have questions specific questions that you would like to ask, please feel free to type them in the comment section, and we'll do our best to get them answered on here. So please keep that in mind. Um, so speaking of mental health, and we've talked about HIV, a lot of people have experienced hurt, stigma, trauma, that has impacted them over the years. And so, I mean, we just went through like a laundry list of recommendations for mental health. So, how would you say, like, if someone is, so even though we've said that, someone might say, I really don't know what's right for me or what I should do. So where would you tell someone to start?
I think telling somewhere to start from, do not give up, right? Letting them know, do not give up. And there is so many resources and support out there. Um, you may not get what you're looking for at the moment, but don't give up, meaning like, that the place that you're in is uncomfortable and it may make you feel like you want to step out of your body, and that place of like uncomfortable. I don't feel good. I feel sad. I'm mad and angry. I think connecting with people that can guide you. And I'm thinking about like adults, right? Like this is a suggestion for adults, and I'll go into teenagers. For adults that are having a hard time, because you guys are a little older, you have navigated life a little bit, so you've been hurt by somebody, you've gone through a little bit of experience in life. Reaching out to people that can support you and best guide you, because honestly and truthfully, there's something for everything out there. I think just people don't know, because they are scared to say, you know what, that group didn't work for me. That therapist didn't work for me. Screaming didn't work for me. The music's not working for me. So, like, being honest and taking accountability of those things and still not giving up, there will be someone um, of leadership out there that can kind of guide you. Even friends. It's all about information being passed along and networking and creating community. As for young people, I would say to the leaders that are out there, to the counselors, to the principals, to the advocates, the artists, to create this ball of energy of normalizing mental health and creating safe spaces for um, individuals to say, aha, I've never thought about getting support in mental health, but I would have never thought this would have been in my band
Mm.
or in my choir or in cooking class, like really normalizing in all services and programs mental health, um, where the kid that is in the back room drawing in art class can affiliate that with some type of form of mental health, right? I don't know if I'm making sense, but
No, you're for sure.
okay.
You're
So like I'm coming from a place of like coordinating, organizing, program creating. Those things are very important, so that there's that child or the adult that will have that aha moment and be like, okay, it was seeded, so now when it's needed, I can connect myself. I know how to go about that and advocate that for myself, and it'll be guided the right way. I'm thirsty. I'm sorry.
no problem.
And drinking water is really great. Water is everything.
Everybody needs a little bit of something.
Okay, listen. Mine this summer is little ices. The ices that the Maria in the corner is like, passing out. Yes, her name is Maria because she's over here on 149th and 3rd Avenue. And I get me my $3 icy cherry. It's just, it does something for me. I don't know. I hope that you guys, this is who you're gonna get if you meet me in person, if you meet me in my program, if you meet me anywhere, this is who you're going to get. You're going to get humor, you're going to get passion, you're going to get someone that's empathetic, you know. So
Okay. Any closing words as we're about to wrap up?
it takes a village to guide, to raise, to create. No, don't ever forget that there's support and help out there. You are not alone. Um, your journey is exactly unfolding as it should. Um, just we need to be better people, humans, loving, supporting each other, being open with each other can come a long, long, long way. And I just want to say thank you for having this platform, for creating um, this moving, powerful platform that you have that can reach the masses. It's amazing and inspiring to be alongside with you working on this. I'm truly, truly, truly feel fulfilled by being able to speak. And I thank you and I appreciate you and your team.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Again, the Zero HIV Stigma Walk will be at Okeechobee Park, which is located on Forest Hill Boulevard at 7715 Forest Hill Boulevard, West Palm Beach, Florida. So we look forward to having you there. If you need more information, please reach out to us at 561-208-6595, or you can email us at info@campbellhealth.org. Remember, the Zero HIV Stigma Walk is Saturday, July 22nd Um, uh, it's 8 to 12 p.m. And of course, it is being hosted by Campbell Health Solutions, Genesis Community Health, Florida Department of Health in Palm Beach County, and Be a Champion for AIDS, HIV. So we're your host committee, and we look forward for you being there. Again, the Zero HIV Stigma Walk this Saturday at Okehilly Park. We have a Facebook page set up for that, so you can go on there, you can register, and you can find more additional information. If you need anything, please reach out. Again, you have our contact information. So if you need help with connecting to a provider, if you need help with getting tested or finding a location for prenatal care, or if you just need general resources, you can reach out to us and we can help you to find the resources that are most beneficial to you. Thank you again, Mizael. We really appreciate you for being here. And now you are officially a friend of the show.
Thank you.
And continue to do the amazing work that you're doing, saving lives and helping people to put their lives back together. It's just continuous. It's just really amazing the work that you're doing. So continue to do what you do best.
Thank you.
And good night.
Thank you and good night. Thank you for everybody that's watching this right now, now and in the future. Thank you. I appreciate you for letting me in your room. Be welcome.